Hey y'all! This video is sponsored by Audible. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks. And Audible recently launched their newest plan, Audible Plus. With Audible Plus, you get access to thousands and thousands of select originals, audiobooks, and podcasts. To use your membership, download the Audible app, which is completely free, and it can be downloaded on all smartphones and tablets. Recently, I've been obsessed with the book Ghost Stories, the most horrifying real ghost stories. I'll have the title written down below if you guys are interested, but it is addicting to listen to. And during the new year, I've tried to make it a habit to go on walks almost every single day just to try and stay healthy in the smallest way possible. And so I listen to my audiobooks when I'm out on walks or if I'm editing videos, if I'm cleaning, pretty much whenever I need something on in the background. And plus it's been opening me up to new content because I've been listening to ghost stories non-stop and I really want to make videos about the ghost stories that I've heard. To get a 30-day free trial, you can go to audible.com/cjades or you can text CJades to 500-500. Again, audible.com, hi Rumble, audible.com/cjades or text CJades to 500-500. And now into the video, because I am back and I have more of your paranormal stories that I'm very scared to read today. I feel like I haven't done one of these videos in a hot minute, which I feel like I've been saying that a lot recently, but maybe it's just because I haven't really been uploading. Except I've been doing better. I have been doing better at uploading. I've been doing a great job, in my opinion. But I have paranormal stories that I'm very scared but also really excited to read. So this first story we're gonna read is called The Shadow Man and the Bride. Hello, I'm Robin, and I don't know how to start this, so I'm just gonna jump right in. Me and my family just moved into a house built in the 70s or 80s, but the things I'm seeing gotta be 50 times older than that. I've had so many encounters with these two ghosts, if that's what you call them. It's a tall 6 or 7 foot shadow man in the basement and a pale woman in a white tattered bridal dress with flower lace print going up her torso on the top floor and in my bedroom. She has dark brown, almost black hair and pale gray skin. She isn't that old, probably 23 or 24. She's honestly gorgeous. I'll do the Shadow Man first because that's who I saw first. So we have a Nintendo Switch set up in our basement and I was down there on my birthday playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild while I was on a call with my friend who, for the sake of the story, I'm calling Jessica. Jessica and I are talking about how stupid the boys at our school are and I see this figure in the corner of my eye. So being the idiot that I am, I said, "Come on motherfucker, kill me now. Make it slow and painful. What is wrong with you?" Jessica was confused, so she asked why I said that and I responded with, "Oh, I just saw the shadow of a guy." She laughed and we continued on with the conversation. At some point she had to hang up, leaving me with no one to talk to, so I throw my headphones on and listen to The Prom for the 10th time that day. When Love Thy Neighbor comes on, I start muttering the lyrics and the shadow man, I kid you not, walks in front of my TV screen and stares at me. It was so weird. He doesn't have eyes, but I could still feel him staring at me. I throw the remotes down and bolt upstairs and tell my sister she can have the Switch for the rest of the day. Of course I had to go back down to get my phone, but I made sure it was quick and I didn't see him again for a few days. Once I deemed it safe to go back down, I take my computer down to work on the book I'm writing. Will come into play later. So I'm sitting on the couch writing, vibing to the playlist I made for my main character and drinking my second coffee that day. My guy, the Shadow Man, no joke, touches me on my back. And it wasn't a light touch, it was a solid press. So I whip around and I don't see him. I call out to my sister, Six, which is my nickname for her. She runs downstairs saying, "What now?" And I'm in shock because, well, yeah. I managed to stutter out a few words and she goes back upstairs talking to her friend. Those are two of the most important to the Shadow Man. Of course I've had more, but none are as prevalent. Now for the bride. She is gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous. Pun intended. So you need to know the layout of my house for this one. It's sort of hard to explain, but I'm gonna give it a go. Basically there are 3 floors. Basement, ground floor, and second floor. I don't know of an attic, but there may be one. The ground floor has the kitchen and a pocket room with a washer and dryer in it leading out to the garage. It has a wood-burning fireplace that my mom is basically in love with, in the center separating the dining room and the family room with the TV and stuff. It also has a wall in between the music/sister's workspace in the dining room. There's a little corridor leading to the office and the first floor bathroom, and a few meters away from that are the stairs leading upstairs. The second floor has a balcony overlooking the entire house with me and my sister's bedrooms right where the balcony ends, and it turns into a wall. When you go upstairs, if you turn right, the master bedroom is right there, and that room gives me bad vibes. Sorry if that was really unclear, I don't know how else to explain it. My first encounter was at night, and it was 2 a.m.-ish, and I was working on my book, and there she was, on the end of my bed, just sitting there watching me. It felt so weird. I'm serious, really weird. She and I locked eyes. Her eyes were an enchanting emerald green, and my gay-ass no-joke said, "Wanna go out?" And she disappeared. Mind you, I'm 13, so I probably scared her away, but whatever. The next time I saw her, I was having a panic attack. Here's the reason for my panic attack. I have a friend, and I fell for her. She and I are both bi, so I have a flipping chance. We were talking and I opened up to her about my old bullying situation at my old school and I broke down on my couch with no one home. The woman walked in at me, stared at me, and I calmed down instantly and she disappeared. I also have a twitch that my family and I are going to get checked out at some point. When I'm having a bad fit and I'm alone, she tries to touch me and it goes away. Of course her hand goes through me, but hey, it works. I've been seeing her often in my room and sitting on the balcony railing sometimes. As weird as it sounds, she helped me write my book. Like she's helped me calm down so I can go back to writing it. So this is the first time my mom saw her. My mom and I were in the living room binging Smash for the zillionth time. We were both theater trash and in love with Leslie Odom Jr. I'm mouthing the words to Let's Be Bad, rooting for Ivy and stuff, and I see her. I turn to look at her and my mom does too. She can't say anything, but we both just watch her as she disappears. We didn't talk about it afterwards, but it happened. My dog Annie has seen both. She likes the bride and she's scared of the Shadow Man. She's actually tried to attack the Shadow Man, but she went straight through him and he disappeared. We hung out like the rest of the day because I couldn't leave her alone like that. My dad hasn't seen either of them, but he would believe me. My sister hasn't seen them either, but she would believe me. But my mom, if she hadn't seen it, she wouldn't believe me. I'm thinking about giving them names. Juna, or DJ for the bride, named after one of my characters, and Tulsa for the Shadow Man, after Tulsa from Gypsy. DJ has helped me out a lot. When my grandparents came to visit, my grandmother noticed how I was less depressed, and I guess she'd been really worried for me. I'm just glad I have someone to rant to. She's beautiful and just so easy to rant to. She doesn't care and she just sits there and listens to me. Sorry for how long that is. I'll try and keep you updated if you do pick this one for your story times. I'm literally shaking right now, so sorry for any typos. I love your channel and keep up the good work. Goodbye for now. Yes, you have to keep us updated. That one is kind of like very wholesome. I feel like it's a lot different than the stories that I normally read, but I kind of like that. I like the wholesome stories, and I picked 2 happy stories for this video because I want to change it up a little bit. But I do have spooky ones too. Not that this one isn't scary at all, because it is terrifying that you do have 2 shadow people like living in your house, but it's like wholesome at the same time, you know what I mean? But this next one is called Shadow Figure and More in My House. We live on the grounds of what used to be a mental asylum, now converted into flats and new builds. About 3 years ago, we moved to this place called Fairfield Park in the southeast English countryside. It's made up of newly built homes, and there's a gym and spa in the middle, and a whole bunch of apartments renovated from this giant old complex. It's like its own little mini village. There's a reason I'm describing the whole layout. The thing is, the whole place was originally named the Three Counties Asylum, built in 1856, and wasn't shut down until 1999. Holy shit. You can only imagine the sort of stuff that went down in that place. Fast forward a bit, and some bright spark had the idea to convert the buildings into a health spa / gym and apartments and build houses on the rest of the grounds. The graveyard for the staff who work there is just around the corner from the houses. I'm talking right out your front door, make a right, and hello graveyard. It only has about 15 graves there, and there's a meadow next to it where, according to a sign next to the graves, the patients who passed away during their time at the hospital are buried. The literal beginnings of a horror movie, and now I live there with my parents. Thanks, guys. The main part of the hospital is what was converted into the gym and spa, and the chapel still remains outside of it. Our house is no more than a 30-second walk over to the main building, and it's haunted to shit. Here's a couple of my favorite occurrences. I was home alone one night a few months ago, and I was walking by the bottom of the stairs when I suddenly had the urge to look up. You know that feeling of being watched. So I look up at the top of the stairs, and I clearly see this dark shadow figure of a man leaning over the banister peering down at me, and it pulled back and vanished. I legit froze to the spot for about 5 minutes before I could move again. To be honest, at first I thought it was a burglar, so it's really great to know that if I ever was burglared at home, I would just freeze and let them do their thing. Great surviving skills. Anyways, I eventually unfroze after not hearing any other movement, and like a dumb bitch, I went upstairs to see. No one was there. On top of this, if I sit on my bed with my bedroom door open, I can see onto the landing where I saw the Shadow Man. I'm usually sat on my bed on my laptop, especially recently given the lockdown. And I'll find myself looking up because I swear I see someone walk across the landing out of the corner of my eye. This happens at least twice a day. Cut to another night when I woke up and someone was praying at the foot of my bed. Probably praying for me to stop being a dumb bitch. Then there was another night where I woke up and the face of an old woman was looming over me. Her facial expression was like screaming, but there was no sound. Without thinking, I sat up super fast. Not sure why that was my first instinct, seeing as she was physically there and I would have headbutted her, but I think we've already established my dumb bitch tendencies at this point. After I sat up, I looked around and she was gone. Finally, my mom also had an experience a few days ago where she woke up in the middle of the night to a little kid in her ear going, "Mommy." She just froze in her bed, not daring look over her shoulder. It's ridiculous writing all this down because it genuinely sounds like some 2-star horror movie, but that's what's been going on. I swear it's the truth. I feel like you guys are the only ones who will believe me. I hope you enjoyed. I'll update if anything new happens. You have to update us if anything else happens. That's crazy that you literally live in an old asylum. That is insane to me. I feel like that's like the worst place possible that they could build new homes. Like the top 5 worst places to build a new home. Okay, this one says, "Happy paranormal story. Hey y'all, a little backstory. I'm no stranger to the paranormal. I've had ghosts around me since I can remember. I lost my sister in 2016, and since then she has come to me in my dreams. I've recently been going through a really difficult time. I've been struggling a lot with my mental health and eating disorder. I've really just felt like my life is spiraling out of control. A couple days ago, I had a friend decide that I was too much to be around and she didn't like the boundaries I was trying to set, so she ended our friendship through Instagram DMs. That was the little thing that pushed me over the edge. When I get overwhelmed, I tend to go driving around aimlessly because it helps me think. Now for the story. I was driving around the other day after I got the message I mentioned. I was thinking about how I felt like I couldn't do anything to fix my life and was wondering if it was even worth it to fight anymore. I was thinking about how I wish I could talk to my sister because she would get it. That's when there was a rush of cold air from the back of my car. My windows were not open. I was suddenly overwhelmed with calm and joy. It was so strong that I started crying and laughing at the same time. I've never before in my life cried because I was happy. I knew it was my sister instantly. I knew she was there to tell me everything was going to be okay, just to keep fighting. It was as if all my stress melted away and I was just at peace. I suddenly knew what I had to do to get through the darkness to the light at the end of the tunnel. I've never had a paranormal experience like this before. My sister and I had our issues, but to quote Hamilton, when I needed her most, she was there right on time. I thought I would share a happy story with y'all. I have a lot of scary paranormal stories. If you want to hear, I would be happy to share. Please share your scary ones, but that is like so wholesome. It's so wholesome. I had to read that to you guys. I just had to. And this is the final one we're gonna read. It says, "The presence in my house that gave my sister scars." To start off, I'll say that I've always been super big on vibes. For whatever reason, I've always been very in tune with something that other people aren't or don't want to be. Almost every person I meet thinks I'm a witch for an unexplainable reason, but I never fully realized this about myself until we moved to Oklahoma. My family moves all the time, and when I was about 7 or 8 years old, we moved to a really small town in Oklahoma, and soon after found a huge house to move into. Even at the showing, I was uneasy about the house. Something about it was just unsettling. It was too big, too empty, yet not empty enough for a house that had nothing in it. Something I couldn't put my finger on. Importantly, the house was over 100 years old. The best feature was that in the basement there was an incinerator room, which is like where they used to burn trash to heat a home. On the first day my sister and I saw the basement and we found out what the huge furnace was, she said, "Or dead bodies," and shrugged. To this day, she's not sure what provoked her to say that. Shortly after moving in, all the activity begun. A lot of really small stuff, like our electronics turning on randomly and while they weren't plugged in, speakers blowing on our keyboard and other sound devices, hearing voices through the radio that wasn't on, and more. Worst of all was how we felt at the house. I would be fully sick with the flu and still begging to go to school because I didn't want to be alone in the house. Because that's the thing. I never felt alone. There are 3 big stories that sum up our time here, which was 2 years. I'll tell 2 here and post the third separately because this is already really long. The first is when my parents were gone on a date night within a week of us moving in. My sister and I were just watching TV, but she had to do laundry, which was in the basement right next to the incinerator room. She begged me to come with her. I said yes because I would ask the same. While she was unloading her laundry from the dryer, I was standing on the landing of the stairs just waiting for her. Unfortunately, the incinerator room wasn't the only scary thing about the basement. There was also a room underneath the stairs which was really unsettling. I maybe went in there once in my entire time living there. Whereas the incinerator room I was more comfortable with going in for some reason. So anyways, right as my sister has finished getting her laundry, I turn my head and hear the door to the room under the stairs swing open. I scream, obviously, and bolt up the stairs. All my sister is yelling, What? Confused. As she makes it up the stairs, laundry barely in hand, we close the door at the top of the stairs and watch as the door that just swung open by itself slowly shuts. We lock the door right in that moment. As if that wasn't scary enough, a few months later, Macy, my sister, started complaining about scratches on her back. We were all confused until my mom lifted up her shirt and we saw 3 or 4 massive scratches all across her lower back. They looked exactly like someone or something had really big claws and had dragged them along her. She doesn't even remember getting them, which is odd considering how large and painful they were. Even the doctor wasn't positive, but explained them away as stretch marks. Have you ever seen scabbed stretch marks? Me either. From there on, I was convinced something evil was in the house, even though I never felt as though whatever presence there was malicious. It's still up for debate to this day, 10 years later. Anyways, I'll leave this post for now. If you want to hear the other stories, I would be happy to type them out. Thank you for reading. Of course! You guys don't have to ask if I want to hear the other stories. I always want to hear the other stories. But that is all I'm going to read for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any other stories that you would like to share with me or the community, I will have the subreddit link down below. I will also have my email written down below if for some reason you're not able to post on the subreddit, so you can send it to my email. But I'm going to go because I am starving and I got a Starbucks sandwich calling my name. But I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye! I always lock my cats out when I'm filming videos because they're very loud. But Rumble, for some reason, got to stay in this time, and he's just up there being a good little kitty on his cat condo, and I'm so proud of him. Normally he's the loudest one, but he's been so good. But okay, that's it. I'm gonna go. See ya!